Hey guys, welcome to HTV Hoodistry Volume 1, the Author's Corner. We're sitting here with Christopher Laird, author, best-selling author of Origins. And we got him here to share a little bit of information about his new and up-and-coming project. And give you guys potential new customers what he has going on and what he's going to be doing in the future. Hey, how's it going, Christopher?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about your previous project, Origins.
Yeah, Origins was my first novel. It's a science fiction novel, and it made bestseller on Amazon. It was a lot of fun to write. It's just a really fun science fiction drama. It's about a God particle out in space, and it's been lost for millions of years. And what ended up happening was these evil race of aliens called Ambassadors found this particle. And once they got a hold of it, a lot of chaos started happening, and virtually like everything we ever known, the history of the universe was just gone. Like everything was just gone. So it's almost like the Big Bang Theory, like the Big Bang Theory happened, everything was erased and starts over. So that's what ended up happening. So the good guys try to fight the bad guys, and it's just a really fun adventure and just a lot of excitement.
Oh, that's good. Awesome. Hey, where can they find that book?
You can go anywhere to get it. You can go to barnesandnoble.com. You can go to booksamillion.com. You can go to lulu.com. You can also go to my website, chrislaird.net, and you can go to any major book retailer online. You can find it.
How did you become an author?
It started when I was a teenager. Actually, it's a funny story. I actually was like recording like movies when I was a kid. So when I was 7 or 8, like my mother used to bring back the old school computer paper with the green lines in the back and everything. And I used to like picture write like all the the scenes I wanted everybody to do. And what I would do, I'd get all the kids in the neighborhood, and I was kind of like the director, so I was telling everybody, hey, I want you over here, I want you over here. The sun's brighter, so don't go over there, I want you just right here. So I was just kind of orchestrating everything, and we had a lot of fun. And they were like maybe 5 or 6 minute movies, like they weren't even like that long, but they were a lot of fun. And then we were done, we would watch them and laugh, and we would just laugh at each other. Oh, you're stupid, look at that, you forgot your lines. And then I did that for a long time, man, and then when I got to be a teenager, like I actually started getting into writing and creating stories that way. So yeah, man, it was like a lot of fun, and I started my writing when I was in my teens. Yeah.
Teens? Oh, okay. So now you have a new book that's coming out, and what's the name of it?
Eternity's Past is the name of it.
Tell us a little bit about your new novel.
Yep. So my new novel, Eternity's Past, the Reign of Xona. This is more of a story where it's a sequel from the first one. And in the first one, what ended up happening was the Ambassadors got this God particle. It's called the Hassenflung particle, by the way. And, Michael Stratford, who was the captain of the Delta Corps, he had the lead on the Ambassadors. He had the edge. And, he finally was able to defeat them. But what ended up happening was the Ambassadors had like an enforcer, like a psychic or a spy. Their name was Xona. So Xona also got hold of the particle too. So the particle's basically like you have the powers of God. So just imagine like the X-Men or Superman or everything like that. Everybody has all those powers in one. So it's like you're undefeatable and you can do anything that you want to. You can destroy the universe, recreate it, like you're playing a video game. So what ended up happening towards the end, Xona was killed by Stratford's wife, Lisa. And she eventually died, and she incinerated in this pool of like acid mud. So, her body was just gone. But what ended up happening was in the second novel, like the power was still in Xona. So what ended up happening was it regenerated her body. It took years for that to happen, but her body was regenerated. But what ended up happening was Xona doesn't have all the power now. She only has half of it. So a lot of it was extracted, and it's still growing in her body. And same thing with Stratford. He had the power too, but it was taken away from this guy Aureus, and he's like the protector of heaven and earth, and he took the power away, but it was still growing inside of him. So when Xona was regenerated and she was back to life, she had to go back in time to get the particle where she can get like full power. And what ended up happening was Nazi Germany had this power where it was in space and it was jettisoned down to Earth in Antarctica. And Xona had to go back, recapture this power, and Stratford had to go back in time to 1941 to go after her. So it's just a really fun adventure of just time travel and everybody just getting accustomed to the time period, and it's really funny too, because these people never seen clothes before, they never see paper money, airplanes, and they can't even count money, so they're just fumbling around. They got to eat chicken and mashed potatoes, and they never seen. So it's really funny how they all just kind of just had to figure stuff out in this archaic period, but it's a really fun adventure, really fun.
Hey, what kind of support are you getting from your family?
My family's been really supportive. They've been coming to my book signings, and they've just been very encouraging. A lot of them read the novel, the first novel, they really enjoyed it. And I got a lot of good feedback. A lot of people said they couldn't put the book down. Like, it's really hard to put down because it's like you don't know what's going to happen next, and you're just so excited, like you have to actually you want to sit down and see what's going on. So, I mean, it's been a lot of great feedback from my family and friends, and I always hear people say, well, my family didn't support me when I tried to do something, and everybody said I couldn't do it, and everybody said, oh, you shouldn't do that. But in my case, everybody's really supportive and just very encouraging. So yeah, I really appreciate all the love.
What kind of demographic do you think this novel will appeal to?
You know what? I truly think it's for people who just love to read and just are excited about just adventurous stories. I think it'll appeal to everybody. So, I mean, even if you don't like science fiction, I think that's okay, because I mean, this book can open up to so many different places you never thought of before. So if you like love, it has that. If you like history, it has that. If you like mystery and all the other stuff, it has everything that that you would want in a book.
Are you self-publishing?
Yes, I am self-publishing. And the great thing about it is they also help me out with retail distribution. So they could open up channels for me to get my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and all major book retailers. So that's a good thing about the company that I work with. Like, they really open up avenues for me to kind of reach out, like global distribution, and kind of make the process easy. They do everything for me. I don't have to do so much strenuous work. They do pretty much all the legwork for me. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and they're a really, really good company. So I really appreciate all the great help that they've been giving me.
There's a lot of people that want to publish books. How do you feel about self-publishing versus going to a publishing company to get your material out there into the public?
There's a lot of pros and cons to it. I think with self-publishing, one thing, all the profits are yours. So you make all the money, you have more control over your novel, you have creative control, and everything like that. So you kind of have more control of your destiny and how everything goes, and you're kind of like the only person in charge. So it's just you. The downside is with that is you pretty much have to market and promote everything yourself. So it's just kind of getting to the right channels and doing a lot of research too, to make sure that people know about your book. I always say people have great products, but nobody knows about them. So it's always good to get your product out there and just get somebody to see it. If somebody sees it, more people see it, then I think your product will do well. Because everybody's like down here, everybody's like, there's so many authors and all this, but I think the idea is to kind of get above the fray and kind of get above the water so everybody can see you. So I think that's really important. The thing with traditional publishers is they mostly take all the money, but they do provide good marketing promotional vehicles for you. So your book is more likely to get seen by a big name publisher or something like that. But another downside with that is you lose a lot of control of your novel. So if you give them your manuscript or your book, they might change the title, they might change the characters, they might change the plot. They'll change a lot of things, and a lot of people don't like that. So it's up to you on which avenue you want to go to. You want to self-publish, or you want to go to traditional publishing, you can do one or two things. But I think those are pros and cons of both. But traditional publishing, you get seen a lot more. Whereas self-publishing, you have to really just grind it out and just put your nose to the ground and just get your stuff out there. So yeah.
Is it expensive to self-publish?
You know what? I think it's a huge myth because back in the mid 90s and even early 2000s, it was like you would have to buy like a certain amount of novels and pay like thousands of dollars for you to be able to get your stuff. But now it's not like that. With the evolution of the internet and with social media and just with everything else, it's a lot more easy now to get your stuff published, and you don't have to pay these exuberant amounts of money just for a certain quantity of books. So I think the options right now are just great for anybody who wants to go into self-publishing. So it's less expensive now than it once was like 20 years ago. But I'll tell you one thing. I think if you put a lot of money into marketing, promotion, I think you'll do better for yourself. So I think you just kind of want to, weigh the pros and cons there, like how much money do I want to invest, in marketing, promotion, and things like that. So it's really pretty much up to you how much money you want to spend, but just make sure you do your research and you spend wisely, because there's a lot of cons out there. There's a lot of, things you can get into where, it won't be fruitful for you. So definitely do your research. But I think if you spend your money wisely in the right places, I really do think you'll really do well with time. And I always say, keep the momentum going. So don't stop with anything that you're doing. Just keep the momentum going with whatever you're doing. And, like I said, you're going to hit pay dirt or hit gold. Like you're digging for gold, just keep digging until you can't, oh, I hit something. So I think that's the thing people need to do. Just keep digging until you hit that treasure chest.
Oh man, how do you feel about drop shipping versus just ordering in bulk and distributing them yourself?
You know what? It's distributing them yourself can be really good because one, you're actually, like I said, you're taking in all the profits yourself. So, there's really no middleman involved. It's just pretty much you. But I mean, drop shipping is great too because, like I said again, you open up those avenues where other people can buy your book. So, people can go online, or they can come to your book signings, they can go to your website, or they can come see you, personally. So just open up those channels for other people to go to, because some people may not be able to go online, or maybe, it's just better for them just to go see you so they can pick up the book. So, I mean, just open up those channels. So there's really no, bad or good about both of them. I do both of them, so it really helps me out. But just giving those people the channels, they can get your book any number of ways, in any place. So just make it more convenient for them. Don't make it hard for them to kind of find your stuff.
Oh, that's excellent. Me being a budding author, these are some of the questions that I have. Is there any advice that you could give to the new up-and-coming authors that can minimize the pitfalls while they're doing that? Yeah, I know you gave some advice about how to distribute, whether it's self-publishing, but any kind of like insider type of stuff, especially because you've done it and the up-and-comings have not.
Yeah, there is like I can sit here all day and just spit out like a whole bunch of stuff, but one thing I encourage people to do, make sure you get a good editor. Make sure your editor is like really, really good. Because once it's edited, it's out there in the world and everybody's going to read it. So you don't want to see little grammar mistakes like a missing period or a comma or something like that. So make sure you get a really good editor if you're self-publishing. You might have to spend a little bit of money. So you can get editors like on a low-end scale, and the higher-end scale might go over $1,000 or even more. But I think it's a good investment. So I would underline, capitalize, put it in red, editing. Make sure you get a really, really good editor. Because once your stuff is out, it'll look crisp, it'll look good, everything will flow easy. And I think editing is so, so crucial. So make sure you find a good editor. Another thing I would do, just do your research and just find out what works best for you. Is self-publishing is something that'll be good for me, or do I want to do traditional publishing? So you really got to kind of weigh those options and find out what's best for you, whether it's financial wise or distribution wise. What works best for you, and you know what? Just just keep reading books too. I think that's important. Keep reading, and and you'll see a different style what each author has to bring to the table. Every author is different, but you'll find a common theme with every piece of writing that you see. So just make sure you're always just reading and doing research, and I think in the end you should come up pretty good. So and most important thing, just stay at it and don't give up, no matter what roadblocks or pitfalls or orange cones that get in your way. Keep up the fight, and you know what, you're going to get hit a few times and you may get disappointed a lot, but I think the main thing is to make sure that you keep your eye on the prize, like they say, and just stay focused, and just don't give up.
Okay, lastly, is there anything that you can give to the people? I'd like for them to get a nugget here so they'll know what they're about to get into from the potential people that are interested in novels, or especially yours in particular. This particular novel, is there anything that you can read for them?
Yeah, I sure do. I have an expert right here that I like to read, and I'll basically just set it up for you. So basically, Xona, she's on her way to Antarctica, where the Nazis have their secret base, and where they have the particle. The particle's inside like an alien container, and you can't open the container without an alien coding. So Xona has the alien coding, and she's the only one that can open it. And Lisa Stratford's wife, has the Egyptian coding too. So you gotta mix the Egyptian coding and the alien coding together to be able to get this open. So they're on a boat, they're actually on a tour ship to Antarctica, and Xona's with her boyfriend. And she's basically using this guy. He has all the money in the world. He has resources. So she's using him just to get along in this archaic 1940 period. And they're always fighting. They sound like an old married couple. So in every scene, they're always fighting, and they're always going at each other. And she's abusing him physically and mentally. She's just a really mean woman. So they're on a boat. He wants to dance with her, and she doesn't really want to, but I'll read it for you so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. She preferred to eat with her fingers and sloppily devoured her food, not caring who was watching. She would also eat the bones and crush them with her teeth and spit them out. All she would drink was water, which she thought was not pure according to the standards from IKEA. The men were also intoxicated with Xona's beauty as well. She had a very elegant and expensive white gown that actress Jean Harlow wore in the movie Dinner at 8. Her glistening braids flowed effortlessly down her beautiful face and her well-toned petite body. Her green eyes and exotic features had all the men mesmerized. The men did not care about her white skin, but the alcohol assisted with the dismissal of that anyway. Xona was busy eating and did not care about anyone looking at her. She kept an eye on Stratford and Lisa. Stratford would look back at her, monitoring her from time to time, wondering who would make the next move. What happened in Santiago was not good. Xona, come on, let's dance, Mr. Hershoff offered with his words mostly slurred. I don't feel like it, Xona growled back. Look, you're already here. Look at everyone else. They're having a time good. Xona grimaced at him, repulsed by his intoxication. You drunken fool, don't you mean good time? Whatever, that's what I said. Now come on, let's make a night of it. A night of what? Memories. Xona did not reply as she kept her eyes on Stratford and Lisa enjoying themselves on the dance floor. Xona, come on, will you? You're really good at the Lindy, so I know you like to dance. No. Where did you learn the Lindy anyway? It's none of your fucking business. Why are you so mean? You're so damn grouchy all the time. You're like Ebenezer Scrooge. Who? Xona retorted with an ugly frown as she was becoming tired of his pestering. Charles Dickens, Ebenezer Scrooge, the cranky, never mind. Come on, let's dance. You can't lead, and I don't want to lead. Look, I'll lead. Look at you, you're drunk, and you stink of that foul liquor you humans drink. You can't dance anyway. Why do you keep referring to us as humans? Are you human? Because I don't know what to think of you after what I saw what you did in San Marnotego. Santiago. Xona corrected him, letting out a sigh of irritation. That's what I said, San Antonio. Xona was silent. Look, I'm tired of asking you to do stuff for me all the time. I just ask you to do simple things for me, and you give me an attitude about it. Monty, you can't dance and you're drunk. Your fucking breath stinks, and I don't want to dance. I have a mission to accomplish. Quit pestering me. Just get away from me. I am dancing, Mr. Hershaw said, intoxicated, as he cautiously reached for Xona's arm to lead her on the dance floors, still fearing she was going to hit him. Xona snatched her arm away like an angry little kid not wanting to give his toy away. I told you not to touch me unless I let you. Stop being so mean and cranky. You act like a... Before Mr. Hershaw was going to call her a bitch, Xona gave him a cold stare and scared him. He suddenly stopped and realized she might hurt him again or do some of that magic on him. Mr. Hershaw tried to recollect his thoughts. Look, I just want you to have a nice time. I'm having a nice time, Xona lied as she was getting very irritated with him. Well, why don't you tell your face? Xona huffed and rolled her eyes and turned away from him. Look at your friends or your enemies or whoever those people are. They're dancing and enjoying themselves. Xona did not respond. Suddenly, Mr. Hershaw was inspired. Well, I would say they're great dancers. That lady sure is good. Better than you, I think. Xona still had her arms folded, looking away from him. Yes, she has grace when she moves with them. They are magnificent together. She has such beauty. Xona stormed out of her chair angrily and got in his face. I know what you're doing. You just don't ever shut up, do you? Consider this your last dance before the world ends.
Wow. Amazing. You paint a vivid picture. I can almost actually see the images, as you were speaking them. Is this book out in stores already?
Yes, this book is out right now.
Okay, we will put the links on the descriptions, and you guys can go get the book as soon as humanly possible.
Yes, indeed.
Any last words that you'd like to say?
Last words. This book was a lot of fun to write. I love science fiction. I love time travel. And one thing I do want to point out, a very important part about the story, is the God particle is in what is called the Nazi bell. And this was actually some truth. There was actually a Nazi bell back in the 30s and the 40s that Hitler tried to create. And it was this super weapon he tried to create, and it was supposed to, put devastation on the United States. So just look up online. It's called the Nazi bell, or the Glocke in German. And it was a 15-foot high bell, and it was folklore that the Americans got a hold of it before Hitler could actually use it. So what I did was I took an actual historical element, and instead of it being like Hitler's weapon that he created, it was actually a Nazi. It was actually an alien container that fell to Earth. So there's a lot of true history in this too. So it's a lot of fun, and I just encourage you guys just go out and read it, and I'll guarantee you'll enjoy it.